thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, December 28th. And today is National Short Film Day, National Card Playing Day, National Chocolate Candy Day, Pledge of Allegiance Day, and Holy Innocents Day.
Allegiance to what, Jason? Allegiance to what?
The Pledge of Allegiance to America, the greatest country on the planet, Rico.
Okay, making sure.
Yep. Thank you for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look down below on your screen to see where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's right. And welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. But kicking it off today, we have the dope dad himself. He's still rocking a beanie because obviously his hair ain't did today. That's right. It is the dope dad himself. All he had time to do was Zozo's hair today and not his own. That's right. It's the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Fucking shit. First thing in the morning. I like it. I like it. And yes, my daughter's hair is done.
Exactly.
In the morning, she's on her way to Knott's Berry Farm with grandma today. Big ups to that.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, it's 2024 is just 3 days away, and in many places, that means new laws. Many of the good folks in my home state of Virginia were looking forward to the Virginia Cannabis Control Authority taking over the Commonwealth's medical program and the much anticipated launch of adult use sales on Monday, but apparently that is not happening. Virginia's initial plan was to begin recreational retail sales at the start of the new year. I mean, when adult sales in VA was first legalized under former Democratic Governor Ralph Northam back in 2021, the goal was to begin retail sales on January 1st, 2024. However, per the article, proposed bills aimed at regulating sales failed in 2022, and then they failed again in 2023 after the anti-cannabis, protect the children, fleece vest aficionado himself, Glenn Youngkin, took over. And this left the Commonwealth with no legal way for adults to buy weed in Virginia. The legal limbo has left both advocates and prohibitionists on both sides dissatisfied. The way current law is written, adults 21 and over can have up to an ounce on their person or grow up to 4 plants in their homes. And also per the article, the 2021 law that created VCCA to oversee possession, sale, and distribution of retail cannabis, but constant was built to distribute. Excuse me. Per the article, the 2021 law that created the VCCA was built to oversee possession, sale, and distribution of retail cannabis, but constant infighting in the Republican-led state government over the last 2 years has produced no updates or no guidance on regulation leading into the new year. So here we are. Many of the on the ground are hoping recently elected pro-cannabis Democrats that have taken back control of both chambers will be able to right the ship, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Until then, the trap gonna do. The trap gonna do. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street, Virginia native. Shout out to my people up in the 2 Up, 2 Down. For High 9 News, what do you guys think about this one?
I think that, as always, they're gonna push the envelope and push it on to somebody else, so somebody else can have the blame for it. Ultimately, I don't think that anything is going to be done. The change was going on in Virginia. I'm kind of starting to think that people they're just picking days where they just want to be wrong with each other so they can just point the fingers.
Well, Tony, on this one particularly, it is 100% the Republicans' fault. there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ralph Northam actually he caught a lot of flack for slow walking the legalization down in VA. And he's like, yo, we were going to have recreational in 2024, but we're going to relax these laws and allow people to learn about it, have educational programs in place. And so we will have the framework 3 years later. But Youngkin came in and said, you know what? We're going to do it our way. And they couldn't agree. It was Republican run everything. The governor in both houses in the state, and they could not agree on anything.
I don't dispute that. I don't dispute that. What I'm trying to say is that they pick different things to be dumbasses on, where it's about telling a child they can do something to themselves that would adversely affect their future. And then you have another group of people who are telling grown adults, you can't smoke what you want to smoke, even though it doesn't kill you, even though it doesn't have tons of things. And I'm just saying that they choose different things to be dumbasses about. So they're like, oh, you pick this and we're going to go against you. But for this, we're going to go against this so we can just remain uncool. I just think that, I know it's not true, but you kind of got to feel that way. Like it's just like they pick stupid things and then just die on the hill, and it's both sides. That's what I was just trying to say. I'm not trying to say that on the marijuana thing. I'm just trying to say, I think that both sides are picking and choosing where to be stupid at.
I actually agree with that. I actually agree with that. Both sides do pick and choose which side to be stupid on, because, you know, a lot of them do have common sense, but they just choose these ideological positions to banter on. So poor Virginia, poor residents in Virginia, but at least they're going to keep on driving to Maryland and driving their numbers up.
DC?
Yeah, DC and Maryland. They're happy that that's happening. Whoever's the governor of Maryland, they're like, yeah, no, keep doing what you're doing.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're getting the money.
And from what I hear, there's a number of people that I've been recently made aware of that actually have cases for marijuana possession from driving to Maryland and then driving back into Virginia, and have been arrested for possessing cannabis from another state, crossing a state line with a controlled substance. So stay tuned once I get this list of all these people. But I hear there's about 40 people that have been arrested so far in Virginia for this.
Didn't Biden pardon these people?
Nope. Yeah. Big fat nope on that one. Yep.
Joe Biden.
Why these people can't learn. As long as you treat this like it's depleted uranium, you know, the trap's going to just smile all the way to where they bury their money. It's stupid.
Facts.
That's right. That's
kind of kicking myself that I got out the trap business. I mean, I'm happy. I don't have to look over my shoulder. But man, has there ever been a time to make a few million? Now is the time.
Now is the time. What do you think about
this? Just disappear.
What do you think about this, Rachelle? Virginia.
I'm just going to go with what Rico said. Trap always wins.
Trap always wins. I thought you were going to go with like Virginia is for lovers or something like that.
Virginia is for lovers. It's the best word state on earth.
Definitely not for weed lovers.
What's that?
Man.
Say that again, Rachelle.
It's definitely not for weed lovers.
It's definitely not for weed lovers. That's right. Virginia, not for weed lovers. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
How's it going, guys? Saman Razani coming to you from Green Street here with Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast available on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify? Tune in now and check it out.
Adam like the voice of God and stuff.
Oh boy.
He is known for smoking the best weed in the world everywhere that he goes, whether it's in Detroit where he's known as White Gucci, or down in Mar-a-Lago where they call him Gucci Blanco. Coming to the stage next.
You know,
the head
White House
honcho of High at 9 News himself, Jason Beck.
Oh, Man, oh man, I got a fun-packed story for you today because, apparently the DCC is going after the trap, Rico, apparently, because a new California law targets colorful packaging to curb illegal marijuana sales. And I just have to ask, since they're using this language, why aren't all the crazy liberals saying that this bill is racist? But nonetheless, we're going to keep on going. The new year brings new laws into the state of California. Among them is one that law enforcement says will protect children from getting their hands on illegal and potentially dangerous marijuana. They say it is illegal cannabis that is not tested and could contain pesticides and other chemicals. On a recent trip to Los Angeles, toy district in downtown LA, they say they found dozens of packaging with bright colors, cartoon characters, some with references to famous movies, others with a likeness of well-known musicians. All of the items they found inside stores they visited, the California Department of Cannabis Control says are illegal. In a quote, "What we saw in the toy district was an enormous amount of packaging that would not be allowed in the California legal cannabis market. It is extremely attractive to children. It carries the universal symbol of legal California cannabis, so it deceives consumers and is sold in bulk in the toy district," Nicole Elliott, California Department of Cannabis Control Director, said. The NBC4I team was with the DCC enforcement team in November when they say they visited 4 locations in Los Angeles. They say had been served with search warrants 6 months before and warned about unlicensed commercial cannabis activity. They tell the NBC4 News I team that they returned to the locations because the businesses were back up and running. Duh. Sounds like New York. And in quotes, "Starting in the new year, our department, law enforcement in general, is going to be able to seize that packaging and destroy it when it is found to not be used for lawful purposes," Elliott said, referring to the recent passage of AB 1126, in quotes. "Now we're really focused on the product within the packaging. We can definitely seize packaging, but not in this sort of comprehensive way. So this really makes it crystal clear that we have authority to seize when that universal symbol is on that packaging and it is not being used for lawful commercial purposes," she added. Oh man, it sounds like the DCC has given up on raiding trap shops and they're just going to go and start raiding packaging stores in downtown LA. But tell me what you guys have to think about this. This is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News.
It's crazy.
We have become the auditors of color.
Yes.
You cannot have so many colors on your package.
No, too many bright colors, man. I just feel like it's like an episode of E.T. when he's like, bright lights, bright lights.
Bright lights.
What were you saying, Rachelle?
I'm just confused. Like, I thought that they vetoed a law in California around this with like the no cartoon characters and bright colors on the packaging. So what is
you are correct. They did veto that law. However, the law that the AB 1125 or whatever it was that I just referenced, that proceeds to them being able to use the California cannabis symbol, that triangular symbol with the weed leaf and the California abbreviation in there. And so they're saying that logo is of possession of the state of California and the DCC, and that any type of using that in any way that is unlawful or in the trap, basically, then they have the right to go and seize any of that packaging because it has the state's logo on it. Does that make more sense?
So they say
they're hating. They're telling people.
You know what I really wonder? Rico. You know what I really wonder is if the DCC is going to go and seize Cali Plug's chain.
Wow.
Is it hollow? Is that chain?
Is it solid?
That's what I really wonder, because that's a use of the California emblem. You know what I mean? So
it really is. So in the article,
I don't think these idiots remember going to college and studying sociology, where if a certain percentage of your population wants to do something, you can't stop them. Okay? And so they're picking up a rope here because people want weed. If you make it too hard to get legal weed, then illegal weed's going to show up. Okay, it ain't rocket science, and they're just so fucking slow. They can't catch up with themselves because the trap can change, it can morph, it can pick up and move next door and come right back once you leave the building. I mean, we've watched this movie for what, 20 years now, Jason? And it's like, what do you keep doing the same goddamn thing over again and getting the same result? That's insanity, and it's stupid.
I'm not sure that the state of California will be able to enforce this because it's public property. It's like the state doesn't really own anything, the people do. So if I think that someone with some money and someone with a bone to pick with California and what it is that they feel like they're trying to do, someone with enough time on their hands could possibly change this and stop them from being able to do something like this. I think that it's public domain. It's not, the state is the people, it's owned by the people. So if the people see so fit to allow it to be utilized in a certain way, I don't think that they can actually stop them from using it. So as long as it doesn't look exactly like the emblem, if they take
it's the exact emblem, bro. It's the exact emblem. Don't get it twisted. They're using the exact emblem, bro. Yeah.
So Jason, in the article it says, on a recent trip to Los Angeles toy district, so they're going.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to downtown where the little packaging, where all the trappers get all the packaging. It's like one block in downtown LA.
Right, and you see how they the writing of the article, they said they had to put toy district in there.
Yeah,
to make that connection to children.
Yep.
Right there, they said they found dozens of packaging with bright colors, cartoon characters, and some references to famous movies.
I wonder how many Nerds Wrote packages they found.
Right, I mean, what is this shit, dude?
Bro,
it's all about the children, Rico.
Yeah,
when you read our regulations say it can't be attractive to children. Well, what the fuck does that mean?
Exactly.
Okay?
Right.
I need a definition here. Oh, I think a kid might like it, so therefore you can't do it. Yeah. Man,
exactly.
It says reference to famous movies. I'm pretty sure if there's any references, I know a couple of brands that have references to movies or they have characters like similar to movies portrayed. But any of those movies, kids don't know shit about those movies. These are movies like from the 60s and 70s and 80s, if that. And then it says like bright colors and cartoon characters. I don't know about any recent like legal cartoon characters that I've seen on packaging, but bright colors, like
this is an attempt to them saying they've done something knowing that they did absolutely nothing at all. This is an attempt to them saying we did this and give us a pat on the back because this should stop.
No. You know what I think it honestly really is I think that law enforcement was like, hey, you know what? We don't want to go in and raid the trap shops anymore. We need something that's a softer target to where we don't have to feel like we are putting ourselves in jeopardy and playing whack-a-mole. And so then, therefore, they can go to all these little bodegas just right in one little street and just go and hit them all in one day and just take all the packaging. And then that way they have a big headline. They remove so much packaging from the illicit market. And now they're not going to have anything to put.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly, bro. It's the lowest hanging fruit, and it's the easiest thing for them to go get, and it's the less likely for them to get popped.
Yeah, clearly saying, look, we did this. Give us a pat on the back.
Exactly.
And it's going to pop up in some other
enforcement. That's the problem we've always had with these drugs these drug laws you can't enforce. Get selective enforcement. I got popped for selective enforcement. I wasn't importing shit or running a trap shop. They'll pick off who they want, and it doesn't solve the problem. Because the next day, hell, we used to use fucking Ziploc bags. I didn't need to have fancy
Ziploc bags work fantastic.
Weed here, it's in a Ziploc bag.
Hey, in all fairness, you had bright, attractive colors on Ziploc bags because yellow and blue make green.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think they fall down and bump their head regularly. These people just, it's bullshit what they keep spewing out at us.
Yeah, they need. How about they divert some of this energy and some of this money into education? How about teaching people what sativa and indica really is? How about teaching people about actual terpene profiles? How about some actual education out to the state, because they clearly don't know shit. The consumers, the new consumers, really don't know much.
We need to protect Rico. He's saying too much right now. I think he's going beyond the scope of what California will allow. Now he's talking about educating people now. He's in trouble. You gotta
stop. You must be stopped.
How about we just teach our kids the truth about drugs? How about that?
You can't.
Right.
You can't.
With them.
Hold on, bro. Because then you have to assume that everyone is Jack Nicholson, and you can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
No, you know what? You know what it is? The only drugs they want you to get is the ones they control and manufacture inside their pharmaceutical factories. But the moment you can grow something natural out of the ground that will help your back pain, that will help your anxiety, that will help you with sleeping, that will help you just feel happy overall. Oh no, this is just too much. He's not getting the poison from us.
Yeah.
But then they're gonna do you like YouTube does us and say that you're glorifying drugs.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Rachelle.
How do you have
fucking on with Jack Daniels, right? You're glorifying drugs.
Exactly. Rachelle, I saw you were just recently in like a little trap shop that was selling Legos and was selling cannabis products too. And so, did you happen to see any of this packaging that the DCC may be on the lookout for with the California symbol on it while you were there?
You know, surprisingly, that was not a trap. That was an actual store. It was a liquor store in Minnesota that also has a cannabis section because that's how it's playing out in Minnesota. But yeah, they had all kinds of packaging that the DCC would find questionable.
Minnesota, early champion of the crossfade.
Yeah,
I love it.
Loving it. Oh man. This is.
I mean, buying cannabis seeds at the liquor store. What a time to be alive!
I mean, you can't make this shit up.
What a time!
You cannot make this shit up. But
10,000 lakes.
Right. Well, they got plenty of water out there for all them seeds, apparently. But look, we're gonna keep this train rolling. We're gonna roll right on into Mr. Attorney Dale Schafer. He's the founder of Armada Law Practice, and at one point in time did some time for a cannabis crime. That's right. It is none other than everyone's favorite angry uncle. That's right, Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. We're close to the end of the year. The stories are not as sexy as they might have been earlier in the year. But I was going through Law 360 and something jumped out at me yesterday. The headline's FDA Cracks Down on Vapes Resembling Jack Daniels Bottles. And they have a picture on it of Jack Daniels bottle. And some rocket scientist apparently thought that he could mimic almost the exact trade dress and even the name of Jack Daniels bottles and sell vapes without somebody's attention being brought to him that you can't fucking do that. So I decided to read this thing, and as I read it, it dovetails in what we've just been talking about here, because the first part of the problem here is intellectual property. I mean, if you haven't figured out that you can't mimic Jack Daniels or Coca-Cola or 7-Up or whatever it is on your bottles or your advertising, and no one's going to come talk to you, you bumped your head. I bring IP attorneys in all the time. Some places you can register trademarks and really take care of them. But generally, U.S. Patent and Trade Office, you can put trademarks on hats and shirts and other kind of merch shit that you can give away. That wasn't the big issue that I saw in this. The FDA sent a warning letter out to them. And when you read what they're talking about in this letter, they're saying that alcohol is attractive to children. I said, wait, let me back up and read that one again. That these alcohol resembling vapes are attractive to children because they resemble alcohol products. It's like, wait a second. You're telling me now that what you can go into your grocery store and buy off the shelf is attractive to children, and all of a sudden they're going to do something with alcohol. Like, wait, if you're not seeing what's coming, the FDA this is a tell that if they get control of this, which, I hope that they move cannabis into something like alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and get it out of the Controlled Substances Act.
TTB.
But this is sort of a tell of what the FDA might do, because if they're saying if you make it look like an alcohol bottle, that's attractive to children, there are no limits on this shit now. Everything's going to be attractive to children. So just a heads up there. And the other thing that I noticed in this, which I have some tobacco clients that I never really thought about this before, but they also warned them that you didn't get prior authorization to put a tobacco product on the market. I thought for a second, I went, wow, I didn't know that was a requirement, because my clients have retail and the products come there through distributors and it's not an issue. But if the FDA gets a hold of cannabis, are they going to require you to get an authorization to put your product on the market? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, when the government gives you a foreshadowing of what they're going to do, I think you should pay attention. It's like what the DEA's been doing with a lot of these messaging to companies. We're going to crack down on you. The FDA, if it gets a chance, will come in and step all over you in a form that's just as bad as what these state cannabis control organizations are doing. If it's not specific in the language, like, oh, it's attractive to children, everything will be attractive to children. If you have to get permission of the government to put a product out there, that's the game we've been playing the DEA to get authorization to research it. You're an administrative loophole. It's a nonstop clusterfuck that you never get permission out of. Oh, there's my good news for the end of the year. Let's throw it back at you all. And what do you think about this? Because attractive to children, getting permission of the government, I think it's better than being a Schedule III drug, but it could be problematic for us. Well, there you go. Back at you.
This is definitely looking into the future. Like this, if this goes to Schedule III, they're definitely going to be saying this about every single product is going to be attractive to children. And oh my goodness, if they're saying that alcohol, which is not marketed to children, strictly marketed to adults 21 and over, and they're saying that any of that packaging is marketing to children, that you're right, Dale. There is no limit to what they'll be able to say as far as what is marketing to children.
You know what, Jason? I'm usually not on your side of this one, but it seems that our country is slow moving into Canada.
I'm telling you, bro.
Opaque packaging on everything.
I hear a lot about them saying. I hear a lot about them saying packaging for children. But what about the parents, right? Because when I was coming up, and I grew up in the crack cocaine era, I was born in the early '80s, so I seen a whole bunch of shit like. And even through the crack era growing up, your parents taught you, don't eat stuff you see in the street from you. You just don't eat shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't eat anything you should find. Like, and this is an era where your parents wanted you to sell crack. You know what I mean? Like, your parents was like, go outside, sell crack, get money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they still told you, don't eat shit that you don't know what it is. So now, of course, we need to watch out for packages that look like everyday candy kids can buy or whatever, but still at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't we holding the parents responsible? Why is it that the scapegoat is a kid can see it, pick it up, and want to eat it? Why are we not saying the parents aren't teaching their children? The parents aren't raising their children. Why are children deciding to eat medical marijuana products that are being brought to the school from home, from the parents? Oh, a kid's gonna eat it because it looks like candy that he got from out of his mom's bedroom, that he took off his mother's dresser and went to school with. That he got it from an adult. No
I want them to have this.
No kid's going to the dispensary and saying, let me get them sweet and sour patch edibles you have right there, because no kid can walk into a dispensary and do that. They can't walk into a store and do that. So
you know what they can do, though? They can walk into a gas station and buy Delta 8 products.
I want them to have the same energy when it comes to sugar. When it comes to sugar.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to sugar, which is a way bigger killer of Americans every single year. Child obesity rates are crazy. People are losing their teeth and dying from teeth infections and shit like that. Like, why aren't we attacking the sugar industry and all that wild packaging that they have?
We call this in the law acting in loco parentis. People want the government to be your goddamn parent. Okay, and that's what's the problem here, Tony, is that people expect the schools to be your parent. No, your parent's your parent. They're responsible for what the hell you do. And if you go to school and you learn something that you don't like, and you should go back and talk to your parents, let your parents deal with it. Don't act fucking stupid in school. And, you know, I'm not advocating violence on children, but there are a couple of things in my kids' world that were ass-whooping offenses. And I don't think anybody talks to their kids like that anymore. Tells them no. Fuck no.
Yeah.
I am. Look, I am. Remember when your mom came into class and she whooped your ass in front of all the kids, and you couldn't do the next day? You didn't come to school acting big and bad. You came to school with your head down because everybody in the class, seeing your mama just came in there and just whooped your ass in front of everybody. So when you went to school the next day, your behind was sore and you was humbled. And a lot of these kids running around here, they're not humble at all. They're very materialistic. They're very self-absorbed, and for some strange reason, they become offended when they hear language they don't like. It's the most self-centered thing that I could ever imagine in my life. So yes, these kids today, they need a good old-fashioned, passionate ass whooping. That's what they need.
My first grade teacher. My first grade teacher.
I disagree.
She used to have us put our hands out, and then she would hit the top of our hands with a yardstick when we were doing bad.
With a yardstick.
Yeah, with a yardstick.
We had paddles, Jason.
Okay.
The only time I got spanked, I was taken in front of the classroom with the guy I punched out, the little fucker, and we both got 3 swats by the teacher with a big old paddle, and I took it like a man. He cried like a bitch, and I never let him forget it.
Yep.
Okay. And when I got home, my mom was like, "What happened?" All right, I got a call. You got a whooping today in school. And when she found out who I punched out, she goes, "Okay, you get a pass on this one." That's what happened to us. You fuck up in school, you get an ass whooping. When you got home, you got an ass whooping from your dad. And I'm not advocating violence. My mom slapped the shit out of me in public if I said the wrong thing. If I was a smart ass in public, my mom fired my ass up right then. You couldn't be on social media today with my mom. She'd crack your ass down and whoop the shit out of you for some of the stuff coming out of people's mouths today.
Hey, my babysitter when I was a little kid, my babysitter, she had kids of her own, and I've watched her pour dish soap into her kid's mouth and make them sit on for hours with it in their mouth. Okay, because they were cussing or doing
abuse,
whatever.
Man.
Hold on. I'm about to take it even a step further. She also used to make them kneel on the register. All right, you know, on where the heater and the air comes from on your floor, on that grate right there. She used to make them kneel on that for about an hour at a time.
My father got abused like that.
Yeah.
My grandfather would put sandpaper on under his knees and make him kneel near the heater, the radiator.
Yep, the furnace, yeah.
And he would beat him. He would beat my father in front of the radiator with sandpaper. My mom used to beat me with the Southern switch, boy. She would find any wire cord she could get, put the grease on it, tell you go take a bath, come out wet, and come get it. So all I know is I grew up fearing adults. I grew up respectful. I grew up not playing with grown men. I grew up not disrespecting women. And even though I was a bad little boy, I was bad to my peers. I did bad things in and around my age group. But when I seen an adult and they said something, I was like, man, y'all better leave before I know what adults do.
Yeah.
As a current parent, my child don't need that shit. I had the shit beat out of me, and I was still doing wild shit. And people take that punishment differently, right? People take it differently. Some people, it does not reform them. Other people, it does. And not going to go back to every single one of those stories, but those are instances of abuse. So whether it's back then or it was current time, that was and that is abuse.
Oh man, what do you think about this, Rachelle?
Saying, like,
what do you think about this?
I don't feel the need to beat my daughter.
My mom never beat my ass, but definitely let me know if I was out of line. But I don't know how the conversation segued to our childhood.
I'll just say this. My stepfather used to beat the hell out of me, and when I had my first growth spurt in like 7th grade, I grew from 5'3" to 6 feet. He didn't touch me again, and I started whipping other people's asses at that point. So it can go either way, and how you carry that energy can go either way. But I'll say personally, on a personal level, I ain't for that child abuse shit. I'm not gonna be hitting my kids, and I don't want a DCFS coming knocking at my door anytime soon either.
Fair enough.
I will not be letting
taking your kid's phone away ain't child abuse. Okay. Yep. Telling a little kid that the answer is no, the next answer is fuck no, and I'm taking everything you own. Because my kids went to bed with a blanket and a pillow with no pillowcase on it. It's like, this is all you got, you little shit. I told you not to do that. Okay? Yeah. You don't have to whip them, but you got to have a boundaries like this. This boundary is you just got to fuck no territory, and now you ain't going to like what happens next. So you're sleeping in your room with no toys. You got a pillow. You want something back, you're going to earn it now, you little asshole.
Why'd you still let him get the pillow? You should just took the whole pillow. The pillowcase and the pillow.
Well, I did have a heart, just a little bit of one. But I had 3 sons, man. I'm telling you, my 3 sons, I had to teach them, when there's a daddy no-no. If you want to find out what happens, fuck around and find out. Okay? Yes. The rest of the time, I loved them. There's very few rules. But you fuck around and cross those lines, you're going to find out that the old man's got a boot that'll fit right up your ass. Is that where you want to go?
And on that, we're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to be right back.
The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
Stop whatever you're doing and make sure you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed to the channel already. And all of the stories that we cover on today's High at 9 News, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com.
I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get yourself a Stretch and Smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
That's right, baby. I'm Smoky Vanilla with my background in kinesiology. I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on athletes who have chronic pain or injury due to their sport, or the legends of the chronic in the game, baby.
Oh, yeah, you know what it is. We just stretched, and now we're gonna smoke, because you know what it is.
That's right. I love intuitively creating a session based on the individual I'm working with. We'll go through a few assessments, look at the past health history, injury, or anything that's still affecting you today, and create a customized session just for you. Let's go. Yay!
Oh, yeah. Y'all know who it is up next. The self-proclaimed most feared Black and Latin man alive. He's a political leader, artist, activist, entrepreneur, and a huge fan of Sean Puffy Combs' recent legal issue. He's coming to the stage. Antoine Tony Montaga.
Thank you. Thank you to all my co-hosts for being in the book today, and to the great Rico for giving me such a accurate introduction. Okay, let's get into it. Nome, Nevada. New marijuana possession limit set to take effect. Adults 21 and older may purchase up to 2.5 ounces of cannabis flower and up to 1/4 of an ounce of concentrates from licensed retailers beginning January 1st. Excuse me, I'm taking my glasses off. I should just get reading glasses. Republican Governor Joe Lombardo signed legislation SB 277 into law in June, increasing the total amount of cannabis adults may legally purchase and possess. Current law limits possession limits to 1 ounce of flower and 1/8 of an ounce of concentrates. Other provisions in the law allow for licensed medical dispensaries to begin serving non-patients on January 1st. Nevada voters approved a statewide ballot initiative in 2016 legalizing the adult use cannabis markets. Voters have previously decided in favor of an initiative, legalizing the production and distribution of medical cannabis in 2000. And this is the end of the article. So what do you guys think? They're changing possession limits. What do you guys think, to everyone in the chat and to all of my co-hosts here? Let me get your thoughts on this.
I think this is fantastic that they're raising the limit, letting people purchase more. I don't think they should allow for people to have limits on how much one should be able to purchase. You know, you can go and buy as much beer as you want at the store, so there shouldn't be limits to what you can purchase when it comes to cannabis if it's so-called legal and whatnot. But I think this is great for Nevada. I'm glad that they're raising the bar on this, and I think this will be interesting to see how they implement this too with all their new consumption lounges that are coming and opening up.
Yeah,
I think
Go ahead, Rachelle.
Is that Rachelle?
I'm just curious what led them to increase the limits. I'm all in favor of it, obviously, but I'm just wondering what.
You know what it was. This is all Larry. This is all Planet 13
money
for sure.
Tourism.
My man, Larry.
Yeah, shout out to Larry.
Tourism. I think it's money in tourism. I think that They want to increase the amount of tourists that they get in Nevada and Las Vegas. They want to be able to open the markets more. So now the medical dispensaries can just serve anybody that's not a patient. So you don't have to have a medical card or anything on you. So it's about money and it's about tourism. People who have come there have been going to other places are still running to the trap to get stuff because they don't have a card or anything specific that would allow them to go into some of these medical dispensaries. But now it's an open market. So I just think that it's about of course, money, but also tourism. Tourists are coming and they want tourists to come back.
I really did not know that Las Vegas or Nevada had a 1 ounce limit.
Yeah. What do you mean you didn't know that?
I had no idea.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Get out here.
I mean, I usually drive to Nevada, so just
I
saying.
usually drive to Nevada.
I really did not know that. This is good news.
I mean, it's not like TSA is looking for your weed in your bag either, Rico. So you could have flown out there.
Is the current law? I mean, it won't matter the next time. I might be going to Vegas this weekend, but does the current law say that you can't purchase more than 1 ounce in one day, or is that saying in one place? Like, are there nuances to this one?
I mean, Rico, they're not going to be. Every place is not going to call up like Antoine was just there. Was Antoine just there buying weed?
No. Their system. Their system is totally. Their system is totally integrated. Once you purchase that limit, you're not going to be able to go to another store. They've had that in place.
Because they scan your ID, right?
Yeah. They've had that in place since the beginning. All the POSs are linked, so you're not going to be able to do that.
That's
okay. Yeah. Yeah, people have gotten popped like that in other states.
It's not going to be like looping in Colorado. You know what I'm saying, Rico?
Right. Yeah, I've not. Sorry, Nevada. I've not bought a lot of weed in Nevada, so I don't really know. I'm not really well versed with like in and out laws like that. But
I think I only bought.
This is a huge win. I'm a fan of this one.
I only bought weed once ever in Nevada, and it was all for R&D purposes, just so I could see how trash it was. And I was just like, oh man, I can't. I was like, Nevada is competing with Colorado for the driest weed in the nation.
It's so dry out there.
Yes. The Sahara.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
Do you think that for everyone on the panel, sidebar, because I just had a whole argument with somebody about New York weed, and I keep telling him that it's coming from California.
It is.
Is it safe to say that New York weed comes from California? Thank you. So everyone watching, when you contact me because you know I'm from New York, you contact me and you say stupid stuff about New York having the best weed, I can assure you I'm from New York, and I'm going to tell you that the weed comes from California. The best weed
comes
in this
from California.
Comes from California.
That's a fact. That's a fact. It's just reality. It's just is what it is.
Yeah.
It's reality is what it is. California is bad at a lot of things, but marijuana is the one thing on God's green earth you're never going to be able to say that they've done wrong. They have changed marijuana and throughout the whole world, if you think about it, and it's because of California.
Very, very true. So very, very
There's
true.
There's plenty of interstate commerce in California weed going on. It's in the trap market. And you're right. I think our industry is being kept alive out here, both the legal and the illegal, if you want to call it that. It's being kept alive by interstate commerce, shipping that shit out of state.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can still buy a burner distro in California. Find all the shit you want and then close it down and run.
You can buy a trap dispensary too.
Mm-hmm.
That you know. I don't know who.
Oh, I bet. I mean, we covered a couple stories on it. If you wanted a trap dispensary on how to open one, you know what I mean. Just got to find the right landlord.
Oh, you got a guy. You got a guy.
You got to find the right landlord.
Call it Snizzy. They got it down.
Oh man, there we go. There you go. Oh man,
you got a blueprint.
Yeah, I wasn't going to.
It's probably intellectual property, like the trade secret had to do it. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Oh man, we got to keep this train rolling.
On that note,
yes, we're going to roll right on in. That's right. She's the editor at Green State and has the most immense Lego collection in the country, boasting over 44 different unique sets and molds. That's right. It is the editor of Green Street, Miss Rachelle Gordon.
How do you land on 44 Lego sets?
I'm psychic. I'm psychic like that. I have intuition.
Well, it's interesting because my fiance, one of my Christmas gifts, he organized all of my Lego sets and actually made a spreadsheet. So we'll have to compare numbers afterwards.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Just add my email into the spreadsheet.
So
Jason's going to audit it.
Speaking of protecting kids and about the trap, my story today is about kids accessing marijuana. The prohibitionists like to argue that legalization makes it easier for teens to get pot, but new data says otherwise. A new study out of Canada may help shut down the argument that marijuana reform makes it easy for teens to get pot. The paper, published in the Archive of Public Health, determined that fewer young people believe it's easy to access cannabis since nationwide legalization took effect in Canada in 2018. The prevalence of teen marijuana use has also declined during this period, according to the analysis. Researchers sifted through annual self-reported data collected from thousands of high school students from Alberta, British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec. Teenagers were asked, quote, "Do you think it would be difficult or easy for you to get marijuana if you wanted some?" End quote. They were also asked if they currently consumed cannabis. The number of students who believe cannabis is easy to access decreased by close to 27% between the 2018 and 2019 school year and the 2020-2021 school year. A little over half of Canadian high school students thought marijuana was easy to obtain in 2018, shrinking to just over 37% in 2020-2021. Current cannabis use also decreased by nearly 41% over the same time period. According to the survey, roughly 7.5% of Canadian teens regularly use cannabis. Our data suggests that in our large samples of youth, perceptions of cannabis access as being easy has declined in prevalence since legalization, end quote, the study authors wrote. The figures are in line with similar research conducted in the U.S., showing a decline in adolescent cannabis access. However, the Canadian researchers expressed concern that the COVID-19 pandemic may have played a role in the shifting numbers. They called for continued analysis to determine causality. Legalization proponents argue that a regulated market ensures cannabis stays out of the hands of youth. Preliminary data suggests this may be the case, but as markets mature, more will be revealed about teenage perceptions around the plant. For now, prohibitionists may need to seek alternative arguments in their quest to keep cannabis illegal. So what do you guys think? Are less kids getting their hands on regulated pot, or did the trappers just go into quarantine for COVID?
It's the parents.
The trappers went into quarantine. I'm going with that one. I like that option.
That whole new saying she just said is crazy. The trappers, I agree with you. The trappers went into quarantine. That's what I think happened to them.
Self-quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-quarantine.
Exactly. We just ship.
Because they ain't listening to when y'all want to have them quarantine. No, this is yeah, I mean, kids aren't smoking a more legal product. I mean, study after study has shown this, and I'm glad that Canada's broadening these studies. Of what we've been seeing from these kids that have gotten into stuff, it's almost always trap shit that the parents had. Or they didn't lock up properly.
Or it's Delta 8 or HHC or some of these easier accessible compounds.
Yep. Stuff that they can buy.
Yeah. And our story yesterday was talking about Delta 8 and the fact how the state of Missouri has no laws in place with any age barriers for anyone to purchase Delta 8. So it's actually legal for minors to walk into stores and purchase Delta 8, and it's up to the store owner of whether or not they want to sell it to them or not.
No disrespect to Missouri, but I don't think there's a lot happening there. So they're just kind of like,
Missouri's a major market for cannabis. It's one of the best markets out there to be in if you're an operator right now.
Yeah, because they're selling to kids.
No.
Well, I don't know why people think that kids aren't going to want to use drugs. I mean, what the fuck's wrong with adults out there? And we just talked about the in loco parentis problem with, schools. Parents right now have to have 2 jobs, so they got to let somebody raise their kids. And parents just aren't overseeing this. I grew up in a family, we owned liquor stores, and I had lots of discussions from the time I was knee-high to a tall giraffe about alcohol, what to do, what not to do. Didn't talk about drugs, but These are responsibilities of parents. If your kid's taking drugs that might have fentanyl in them and you ain't having a dinner time discussion with them, like, you could kill yourself with this shit and talk to me and be honest with me, and you ain't raising your kids to be adults, they're going to fucking die. Because we got problems in this world to pay attention to, and your kid smoking weed is not one of them. Hey, let's get off of that shit. Your kid taking a pill cut with fentanyl and might kill him, that's a problem. But we're just not having those discussions about honest use of drugs, what the society's doing, what to watch out for. And if your friend's going to do something that's going to hurt them, what are you going to do to help them? And you give your kids tools to help their friends if they're falling down rabbit holes of drug and alcohol use. We're just not having those discussions. Oh, everything's marketed to kids. Yeah, fuck yeah. I wanted to use drugs when I was a kid. And, kids came to school, stole their mom's Valium. We knew where it was coming from. I mean, you can get your hands on this stuff. Let's, honestly, our kids can handle the discussions. Let's talk with them about this.
Yeah, education is the key, man.
I think we're going to put up a poll, Adam. Are you ready? We're going to put up a poll, and we're going to ask everyone in the chat to participate. Where do you prefer to purchase your flowers at? Either from the trap or from a regulated retail market? And let's see.
Where do you even purchase them?
Well, everyone purchases something because everyone's buying weed. All right. I don't think there's.
Sometimes you get gifted, man. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about once in a while kind of thing. I'm talking about when people buy weed. When you buy weed, when you actually exchange money for weed. It doesn't matter if last time someone gave you something. It doesn't matter. It's like when you go and pull money out of your pocket, PIMP. Whether or not you are going to spend that money.
One of my favorite things to do recently, if I'm traveling around the country, with all these new emerging market states, I do both every single time, and I compare.
You compare.
I'll reach out to the local trap and find something from the trap, and I'll go and buy something, and it's almost always better at the trap.
I have a question. I mean, even if you brought your weed, wouldn't it, and you're there, wouldn't that still be considered local weed because you're technically there with that weed? See what I'm saying?
Blunt.
See what I'm saying, Rico?
You should be a lawyer, Jason. That sounds like fucking doublespeak. You read in the bathroom all
right next to that Sharpie written Delta 8 ad.
hey, that website's hot right now. It's popping. There's lots of drop shipping going on.
What is a fart? Yeah. What is a fart? But the helpless cry from an entrapped turd.
And
what is it?
And from the poll, we're already at like 75% saying that they support the trap. More than the regulated marketplace. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting stuff.
Really not surprised. I mean, people don't want to pay the taxes. They don't want to buy dry, shitty weed. It's funny. I was actually just having a conversation with someone the other day. They from Minnesota. They moved out to New Jersey. She was very confused. She's like, I've been to the dispensary a couple times out there. How come the weed is not as good as the stuff I buy on the illicit market here in Minnesota? She's like, is that common?
Hold on a second. So you're telling me that the trap weed
from California.
Hold on, the trap weed in Minnesota is better than the legal weed in New Jersey. Is that what we're saying?
The trap is strong in Minnesota. I'm not surprised, honestly.
The trap is strong. Shout out to all the trappers in
Minnesota. The trap is very, very brawling.
It's strong everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't know, man. It's a trap, man. The trap is.
Yeah.
What are we at? Like 80%? 80%.
Adam just posted it up. It looks like we're at 64% trap market and 36% regulated market. That's the poll. That's
the votes coming in.
That's the results. That's the results.
What if you grow your own? Is that the trap?
I'd say growing your own would be the trap because it wouldn't have came from the regulated market. So I would consider homegrown weed would be considered trap weed because it didn't have to get tested. None of that.
Oh man, so you're saying old grandma's growing weed at their home? They're technically trappers.
Then that would mean that if that was your grandma, then that would mean that you come from a long line of trappers.
Trappers.
Mm-hmm. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Third generation trapper.
It's inherent. It's in your genetic makeup, Rico. But I have
just like gout.
Oh boy, I have one more story for you guys to close this out. I think you guys are gonna love this. I feel like we need to play some cartel music. If you have a little cartel music, Adam, Because Mexico's weed nuns want to take the plant back from the narcos, you guys. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. And there's a lot of very, very colorful photos in this article. But beneath each full moon, on the outskirts of a village in central Mexico, a group of women in nun habits circle around a roaming fire, cleanse themselves with burning sage, and give thanks for the moon, animals, and plants. Then they inhale deeply from a joint and blow clouds of marijuana into the flames. Despite their clothing, the women are not Catholic or any other religion. They are part of an international group founded in 2014 called Sisters of the Valley, which has pledged to spread the gospel of the healing powers of cannabis. In the United States, where around 24 states have legalized adult use cannabis, crops, giving workshops, and attending cannabis-related events. They have events. The product sales are a fraction of that of their U.S. sisters, around $10,000 annually. And while prominent online, the women, 5 in total, are cautious about giving away too much about their location of their operations. They conduct business out of a 2-story concrete false storefront with 1 finished room because cannabis site is in a legal gray area in Mexico, and much of its production is still tied to criminal organizations. They worry police or local gangsters could arrive to threaten or extort them. On a recent weekend when Reuters visited, the curtains remained drawn. Besides bundles of marijuana dried in clandestine services, hanging from a tucked-away laundry line or hidden in the stove. In quotes, the sisterhood is in a totally different context here in Mexico because of how religious the country is and because of the plant's ties to cartels, said one of the nuns, who uses the moniker Sister Bernadette online and asked not to give her real name for fear of reprisal. In her main job as a homeopathic practitioner, she prescribes marijuana to her patients with cancer, joint pain, and insomnia. In quotes, we want to take the plant back from the narcos, she said. The sisters fashioned themselves after a lay religious movement, the beginnies, that dates back to the Middle Ages. The group, made up of single women, devoted itself to spirituality, scholarship, and charity, but took no formal vows. So that, you know what that means. The sisters globally say they wear habits to protect uniformity and respect for the plant, but they also know it catches media attention. Under the guidance of Alil Paz, a chemist and marijuana researcher working with the group, the sisters in Mexico grew a modest crop. The pot plants in old paint buckets and placed them in rows between 4 unfurnished concrete walls on a rooftop. Once grown, the sisters moved the plants to walled-off private gardens they identified with help from supportive older women in the community. The participation is linked to weekends, and they can steal away from their lives, powered by a seemingly never-ending stream of joints and packaged pipe bowls. These women spend time at the farm pruning plants, producing cannabinoid salves or weighing and storing different strains labeled dated in glass coffee jars. They also visit others in Mexico, pushing for full legalization in the growing cannabis community, or give workshops that teach on everything from how to make weed infusions in the chemistry behind the plant. Business potential aside, they argue that the fight against drugs in Latin America has been a failure, leading to widespread violence and mass incarceration. But in a roughly 75% Catholic majority conservative country, locked in a drug war with criminal groups for nearly 20 years, joining the sisters has created tension in nearly all the women's families. Its founder in Mexico, who calls herself Sister Camila online and declined to give her real name, grew up in an evangelical household and left home at 16, due in part to her mother's strict religious code, she said. When she started Sisters of the Valley, Mexico, the relationship became even more strained. In quotes, "It was hard for her to accept," she said. She had certain ideas heavily shaped by religion. But today, after lengthy discussions about the plant and the legalization movement, her mother is pivotal to the group's operations, helping to maintain the farm and offering other logistical support, she said. She got her mom trapping. For another nun who works as a church secretary, uses the moniker Sister Kika, and asked her name not be used, the mission is clear, in quotes, she says. "It's time to put an end to this stupidity," she said. Well. Are these nuns going to be the thorn that breaks the cartel and the narcos? I wonder. Time will tell. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News. What do you guys think of these sisters in Mexico?
All right. I absolutely love this story, and I think it would make an awesome sequel to Machine Gun Preacher. Shout out my guy, Gerard Butler. But in real life, I can't help but believe, man, these nuns are about to get sprayed up.
Hold on. What if one of these nuns they're not using their real name, and one of these nuns is Griselda Blanco?
It don't matter. It don't matter. Dude, Chapo ain't down there. Like, they are battling right now, and they've taken over the state. They have taken over like the political system. Was it like 133 politicians got murdered last year that were running for office? Like it's crazy down there. In real life, like they gonna get sprayed up, bro.
With God, they ain't gonna spray us. Yeah. Okay, you ever heard of Swisher Raps? They gonna sell you guys scripture raps.
Scripture raps. Oh, that's a hot product right there.
Oh, they can have Bible verses on the paper.
Oh man.
Scriptures. And they're gonna put all the Bible verses where someone was talking on something, and they're just gonna have those specific verses on the paper and stuff. You can get some of these scripture.
They're gonna be like fortune cookie wraps, but with scriptures on there.
Scriptures on.
I love this story. Yeah, I love this story, like every part of it. And I love the pictures in it. Reuters did a damn good job.
Oh, bro, the pictures are amazing in this story.
They're fantastic. But in real life, go ahead, Rachelle. Sorry about that.
I've met some of these sisters before. This is a picture of me with one of them. If you can see it.
Oh, hold on. Lower it a little. Lower it a little. Yep. There we go. Awesome. Yep. Oh, look at you, Rachelle. I love it.
She got the strap on Rachelle with the narco mommies.
Yep.
We have a group here in California.
Yeah.
Have you ever met any of these people, Jason, here in California?
I have not.
The Nuns of the Valley here, I think.
Yeah, we have covered them.
They wear habits everywhere they go.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to talk to them. It's like they are not religious at all. In Mexico, the saying is pluma or plata, silver or lead. You pay me or I shoot you.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's like you can't outrun a bullet. And I don't know if they're going to, hold them up for money. But if you make the cartels look bad, they'll be digging your bones up in the desert. How that game gets played.
I wonder. I'm just thinking. I'm just like I'm willing to bet that the cartels could easily use these ladies to smuggle stuff because they're going to be way less suspicious driving around or anything just in their uniform. So I'm willing to bet there's some kind of trade-off for them to being able to do this.
Yeah, because now the cartel can be a face figure, and they can just have these nuns that they're paying under the low to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, once you tell a nun something like this, and this is just realistically speaking, I've done business with the cartels. I'm a former trapper, and what they're going to do, they're going to tell the nuns this: we will either have you raped, tortured, then killed. We will torture, then rape you, then kill you. But either way, shape, or form, this is what we're going to do to you unless you lay down and you do exactly what we say. So I don't, even them being put in these magazines and put out there and everything else, but yet they don't want to tell you their names. To me, all of this screams cartel, which all of it still screams DEA, which all of it still screams nefarious individuals at the top. So
Oh,
I don't buy all this either way, shape, or form. I'm not even remotely close to believing that these nuns think they're going to take on the cartel. It's just the biggest joke in United States history.
Hey, Rachelle, did you get to smoke with the nun, or did you just meet her?
I think Rachelle's thing froze. I think her computer died. She just sent me a text.
Yeah, I would put that on my bucket list, man. I would love to smoke with one of these tatted up nuns.
I think we should. I think we should.
Be a fantastic experience.
Maybe we'll invite them over to the studio and do a little film.
Yeah, I don't want to smoke with any nun. Hey, cartel, if you're watching, I don't want to smoke with any of the nuns that you not sending. I'm cool with the nuns you send. The ones you're not sending, I don't want to smoke with them. They don't want to put their name out. I don't want to smoke with nobody who don't want you to know their name. All right, so I'm smoking with the ones you gonna send that's gonna tell me their name. But the ones that don't,
I'll smoke with the Oakland-based ones, not the Mexico.
Yeah,
oh boy,
I'm with the Oakland ones. I'm out of Oakland. I'm gonna rock with them and toke one with them.
Oh boy, you guys are so funny.
This is a fan. Is Rachelle coming back? Oh,
no,
man.
I think her computer's dead. I think her computer's dead.
All right, well, I guess that's it for the day, everybody. Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. Today's the third day. Of Kwanzaa. Jason.
Third day.
Ujima.
3. Was it 8 days? 8 days?
Come together. 7.
7. Okay.
Thanks.
You don't even know. Look at this.
Shout out to some fans falling love in the comments. Posted live on the big screen. Our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. To our production team, Cloud Media Partners, our sponsors keeping the lights on, our AV struggles to a minimum, and always, always, always my man Adam back there. Brushing up them feathers.
Bro, you should have saw him brushing his hair today, bro. He was feathering it out during the show.
Stop the cap.
Little, stop the cap.
He had a feather brush, bro.
Stop the cap.
He had a feather brush going on.
Spraying some Aquanet on that joint. Ooh. As always, Cannabis Sativa L. The reason our High at 9 News team reads these headlines every day. Thank you to Mama Juana. It has been Thursday, December 28th. 2023. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street, signing off for High at 9 News. And I'd like to give the torch today to Uncle Dale. Uncle Dale, you still with us? Uncle Dale? Uncle Dale? Let's go. What you got for us, man? Leave these people with a good message for the day.
I'm here. Well, I just want to remind everybody what this season's about is the end of a year and the start of a new one. And we've got examples of the world right now of those not so good angels of the human nature killing each other around the world. Let's look for the better angels of our nature for 2024, because we're about to go into an unprecedented period in the history of this country and the world. And let's all try to love on each other a little more. And, Plumer Plata's great, but let's see if we can have a better year in 2024 for the human race. There you go.